still known to many as Fretlin, the armed wing of the independence movement now refers to itself as Falintil. There's probably only 500 guerrillas in the forests and mountains of East Timor, but their support network is enormous. They have thousands of people in reserve, and tens of thousands of villagers support them with food and finances. The Indonesian military are camped just a few kilometres away on the next mountain peak. The nearest militia group would be less than 2 days' walk from here. But the commander of this unit, Falur Laek, is under orders to do nothing but watch and wait.
Comandante-in-chefe Xanana fona a partir da ala sene ba ami dia apela ba husu ba ami forenses ba ami dia kata kami para ho atividades militares, atividades de demonstrações de manifestação juventude ninia haruka para hutu cancela hutu a partir de mama ka olor ami. Okay. Kairala Xanana dos mama.
Falur has been a guerrilla for 20 years. 20 years of being hunted. 20 years of struggling to attract new fighters to his unit. All he could offer was near certain death for an unlikely victory. A flux of new recruits. In the villages, people began to talk openly about independence, and the reprisals against the most outspoken of them began in July. As the militias and soldiers began their crackdown, dozens of young people began joining Falintil in the jungle. The new recruits didn't just bring civilian habits with them. They brought eyewitness accounts of brutalities by ABRI and the pro-integration militias in the surrounding areas. In late October, Falur struck.
O engenheiro ainda não se envolvido hotu, nem engenheiro, mas bem envolvido hotu e have operação né também Intel, cartão macana identifica, kata sirene cartão Intel, e sirene criminoso, idane né Abdul Latif, Furiel ida, né Furiel né, niane macana sambe tortura ema, sunu ema, oh ema, cara jovem sira né conhece, niane vai baucau, ia uma mera casa vermelha ne bem alu ema barak, halu ema barak mate kuah sirne makan ba main ba baku tuhar be no estátua Nossa Senhora de Fátima, mak sirne mak mate utu ne ba. A
few days later, Falur struck again. This film was shot by one of Falur's soldiers as they moved out of the jungle and gathered near the town of Alas. The ABRI soldiers stationed in Alas had begun searching for and arresting villagers who they suspected of supporting Falintil. As the guerrillas marched towards the village, some of the young people of Alas saw them coming. But each of them had their reasons not to alert the Indonesians.
Haset baku mata mi irmão ida narada tegen. Depois a minha mão ainda fari naran Joaquim. Depois naran Leopoldino França. Me sira baku to.
There were 14 Indonesian soldiers in and around the Alas base. 3 Indonesians were killed in the battle, and as the Falintil guerrillas began to pin down the other 11, many of the young people of Alas, after years of pent-up fury, began to join in the attack. Falintil prevented a massacre. The 11 soldiers were captured and later released. But if there was one event last year which galvanised Arbery's relationship with the militia groups, it was this attack. Civilians were now clearly a threat. Infuriated by the loss of an arsenal of weapons and the deaths of their soldiers, Arbery's retaliation was swift. 8 civilians are known to have been killed by Arbery and Alas, and dozens of others are still missing. But Arbery's actions didn't go unnoticed. They were loudly condemned around the world. And it was from this point that the proxy war began, and the militias became Arbery's weapon.